Hello, YouTube. Tonight I want to talk about benzodiazepines and people's feelings about them. A lot of people I hear, and read on the internet, they're worried about taking benzodiazepines because they're going to get addicted to them. They're so highly addictive, and they're so bad, and people throw their lives away on them and everything else. They're like more addictive than heroin and this, that, and the other thing, and harder to get off and what have you. My experience now, mind you, I'm a recovering addict. I was basically an opiate addict. I was into heroin was my thing, and fentanyl. But, I've been clean now over 2 years. Well, probably not 2 years yet. Probably about 18 months. And it's going fine for me. I do, however, still take two benzodiazepines. I take 2 milligrams of Klonopin at night when I go to bed, and I take up to 6 milligrams of Xanax during the day if I need to for anxiety and stuff like that, panic attacks and stuff along those lines. Now, my personal view on benzodiazepines, I don't know if it's just me or what. Like I said, I am an addict. I do have addiction issues. I've had them since I was 13 years old. Was when I probably started to become an alcoholic and a drug addict, all the way up till when I was about 41. So I definitely know addiction well. And, maybe it's just me. Benzodiazepines aren't my thing. I don't abuse them. I take them the way they're prescribed. Just because I'm allotted 3 Xanax a day doesn't mean I take 3 Xanax every day. If I don't need them, I don't take them. I'll usually, I usually have to take it probably 3 or 4 days a week. So my prescription, my 30-day prescription, usually lasts me about 2 months. Because in some days I'll take one, some days I'll take all three, some days I'll take two. It all depends on what's going on in my life and how I'm dealing with things. But I hear so many people there, so just the word benzodiazepine scares the life out of them, and you do become dependent on them, sure, but there's a difference between dependence and addiction. Addiction, you're abusing them, you're taking more than your prescribed amount more often than you're supposed to. You're using other things in addition to what you're prescribed. You're taking them to get high. If my psychiatrist and my pain management doctor actually was the one who told this to me. She said basically if the medication you're being prescribed is getting you high, your prescription is too much. You're being prescribed too much. And that goes for opiates as well as benzodiazepines. You're not supposed to get high off them. It's just supposed to take away the anxiety and lower your stress levels. You're not supposed to be zonked out on the couch drooling on yourself for 6 hours after you take them. You're also not supposed to. I've read and heard different things. I've read that you're not supposed to take benzos for like extended period of time. It's for like 2 months you're supposed to be on them, and that's it. I've been on them now about 5 years, and my psychiatrist says, as long as you're, taking them the way they're prescribed, you're not abusing them, you're not showing signs of addiction, your body's responding to them okay, you're not having side effects or anything like that, he sees no problem in taking them, and I've asked him about it multiple times, and, that's his take. I trust him. If he says it's alright, then I feel safe doing it. Also my mother was in the medical field for close to 50 years, and she says the same thing. She says, as long as you're not, as long as you're taking the way you're supposed to be, there's no problem with it. They're not all that harsh. I do also take Seroquel, which is can suppress your respirations, along with, I used to take, oh boy, back when I was on pain management, I used to take fentanyl, hydrocodone, Seroquel, Klonopin, which are all the pressure breathing. It's just, I'm surprised I never. Well, I guess they knew. My dosages weren't high enough to really be a problem. But it can be kind of scary when you read about it and stuff like that. If you if you're one of those types that don't have faith in your doctors, or I'm a curious guy. I question everything, usually, but I do have faith in my. Excuse me, trying to quit smoking. It's my first cigarette of the day. Last drag. But I do have total faith in my doctors. That's why I'm very picky about my doctors. When I'm looking for a new doctor, if I'm looking for a doctor for something, it usually takes me a long time to find one because I'm very picky, and I need someone whose personality works with mine. I like to joke around a lot. I don't take things too seriously, and I need somebody that can understand that, and it's and all my doctors, like I joke around with my orthopedist, my foot and ankle doctor, Dr. K. Bash. I always joke around about her that if when it comes to the point where they have to amputate my lower leg, which will probably happen sometime in the next 5 years, I always tell her I want to get it freeze dried and keep it so I can carry it around and use it like a club. So you got to have a sense of humor if you want to deal with me. But again, my take on benzodiazepines basically is what this video is intended to be about, and I see no problem with taking them. I don't see any reason why you need to be afraid of them. You need to respect them and take them the way that they're prescribed, because they can be very dangerous substances, and you need to, if you do decide that if you are on them and do decide that you want to come off them, you need to do it with a doctor's supervision. Do not just stop cold turkey. Do not try to do it yourself, because the withdrawal can kill you. Benzodiazepines and alcohol, the withdrawal can kill you. That's why it needs to be done under medical supervision, usually in a medical setting, where they can bring you off, the proper way. I know with the benzos, it takes a long time to wean off. With alcohol, they can pretty much stop you drinking and substitute it with other things like clonidine and stuff like that. That will, and benzos and things like that, they can make it go. But to do benzos right, to come off benzos properly, from what I've read, it takes a long time. You don't. It's not a 2-week process. Like when I quit doing heroin, I just stopped, and I wish I was dead for 2 weeks. But opiate withdrawal is not going to kill you. Neither will cocaine withdrawal. I'm not sure about barbiturates. Barbiturates aren't that big a thing anymore. So I'm not sure about them. But benzodiazepine withdrawal will kill you. So if you are dependent or addicted to them, please, if you're going to stop, get medical attention. Do it under the supervision of a doctor. Worst comes to worst, go to your local hospital and, explain the emergency room and explain the situation to them, and they can get you in a detox unit and get you detoxing properly so that you don't die. I guess what the way they can kill you is they can cause a serious grand mal seizure, and that's the same with alcohol, which can kill you. So again, you don't want to mess around with it. But basically, to sum it up in a nutshell, my view on benzos is, they're a godsend for me. They help me out a lot. Like I said, personally, fortunately, I don't deal with any addiction issues with them as far as things go, because it's just not I'm not tempted at all to take a handful of Xanax or anything like that. Especially not where my life is right now. I like to be awake and alert and able to do things. I have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things I'm involved in that I need my brain to be sharp. I need to be beyond point, not in a daze. Not dazed and confused. But anyway, that's just my theory on them. I think they are a safe drug if they're taken properly, administered properly. Fortunately too, my doctor, he doesn't overprescribe. He prescribes what I need, and that's it, and he will modify it depending on how I do feel. Like, we just recently put me back on Xanax. I was off Xanax for quite a while, and I started having panic attacks again, and he put me back on the up to 2 milligrams Xanax a day, which again, 2 milligrams of Xanax, I'm a big guy, I don't feel it. I don't get I don't, and I'm very tolerant to medicines, and I don't feel it. I mean, it sure helps with the anxiety. It takes the edge off. The anxiety's still there. Doesn't get rid of it. Nothing gets rid of it. It's still there, but it makes it tolerable and bearable. and it gives me the presence of mind and the strength that I can push through it. You know, for a while there, I had such bad anxiety I didn't leave my house for like a year, basically, just to get cigarettes. And I'm still, with my anxiety, I do everything pretty much the same way. It's almost like OCD a little bit too, where I go to the same store, park in the same spot, go through the store in the same manner. It's kind of weird, and then the same thing, pull out and go to Dunkin' Donuts, and it's got to be in that order every day. If something gets out of order, or there's somebody new working in the store, I literally have to stop at the cooler and take a couple deep breaths and gather myself, because I'm going to have to deal with a new person at the counter. But again, with the medications, it gives me the strength to do that. Without the medications, without the benzos, I would probably just turn and walk out, and that would be it. I would have my father who would get me cigarettes, because I just couldn't tolerate it. Again, if you are addicted, I'm going to use the word addicted, not dependent, because if you're dependent, you're probably in control of your life and what's going on in your benzodiazepine use if you are on them. But if you are addicted and you're using them, they're not prescribed here, you're using more than prescribed, I recommend that you get medical attention, get off them. They're bad drugs if you abuse them. If you take them as you're supposed to, they can be a lifesaver. But if you're abusing them, they can be a life taker. And you don't want to. Life is too important. You have to cherish it and live it to its fullest. I've finally realized that after all these years. Anyway, we're getting a little long here, so again, if you have anything you want to comment or say to me or ask me, please feel free to put it in the comments section. Let's keep it civil, please. Nobody likes a jerk. Hopefully, now that I'm back feeling better, I was pretty sick there for 3 weeks. I had an awful upper respiratory infection. I could barely talk. And, hopefully we'll be back making a video or two a day from here on out. But anyway, I hope everybody has a good weekend. And I will probably talk to you guys tomorrow, which is Saturday. Alrighty, have a good night. Shrug out.